A total gutter yesterday for Celtic as a late Rangers equaliser at Pittodrie robbed us of the opportunity to be champions yesterday. Needless to say, I'm struggling with this news. It's been a difficult 12 hours or so. I hope you're all coping okay. Did I get you? No? Okay. Right, I'm having a laugh and a joke. It's not particularly funny for some people, namely those working in the Celtic media department, and I have a hell of a lot of sympathy for them yesterday because with the clock ticking down at Pittodrie going into the final seconds, Aberdeen winning, we're going to be champions, they would have had social media posts galore lined up, scheduled ahead. I'm talking X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, I don't know, whatever else they use. Somewhere inside Celtic Park there'd have been a laptop or a desktop with a tweet set up, champions. I kind of feel like it will be champions with a 4 instead of the 8. That's kind of the route they normally go down. You'd have that big normal graphic that you see with all the various players who have played a part in the title triumph. And it would have just been ready to go, just ready to hit publish. And then they would have had to stick it back in the drafts for a couple of weeks. I mean, all joking aside, that must have been very frustrating. I guess on the plus side, and please do get in touch if you do work in the Celtic media department and let me know if this actually did happen or not. The plus side would be all the groundwork is done now ahead of a fortnight when it's eventually going to be clinched. And that's going to be a glorious day. And I genuinely mean that. And after watching yesterday's game, Aberdeen and Rangers, I can categorically tell you all, and this might come across as a controversial statement, that Yanis Hadji's late equaliser for Rangers was a very good thing. That's going to get clipped up and put out of context. But I'm serious. What an anticlimax that would have been yesterday. As I say, I sat and watched the game. I'm not actually going to pass any judgment on the game itself because I thought it was kind of two pretty poor teams. Aberdeen deserved to win. Rangers aren't a good side. They somehow got a draw. There you go. But like winning the league and having it flash up in the corner of the screen as it would have on Sky Sports, Celtic are champions, and hearing Ian Crocker maybe say something along the lines of Celtic are champions, and then watching Aberdeen players celebrate rather than our own, it would have been a massive anticlimax. And I was, as I say, I was on the fence prior to the game because I kind of thought it'd be funny seeing Rangers lose and that meaning that we'd become champions, but we can win it in a much better way now and do it ourselves. And I think everyone will be pretty happy with that. I'm pretty sure Brendan Rodgers is a fan of that idea. The players as well. I mean, after the game on Saturday, Brendan Rodgers spoke about his disappointment. He said, I'm still frustrated it's not today, if I'm honest, but we can't do anything about that now. We've done everything we could do today. Whenever and if it comes, we have to be ready for it. No, let's go out and win it ourselves rather than having another team hand it to us by them losing. Of course, that could still happen. But I sense, looking at the post-split fixtures that will come on to now, and they've not been announced by the way, they're talking, I think, Tuesday evening at the latest for them to be announced, because I know a lot of you'll be wondering that. Could be Monday, certainly will be Tuesday, we think. But yeah, like I get the impression that going into the first game of the split, Sky Sports will probably want to be a part of things and show us trying to win the league and get the point that we need to win the league. So I could be wrong there, but I'm feeling a Saturday lunchtime kickoff to clinch the league, probably away from home. What do we know about our post-split fixtures then? Well, we know that we'll have Hibernian and St Mirren at Celtic Park, and we know that we'll have away trips to Rangers, to Aberdeen and to Dundee United. We just don't know in which order those games will come. if we work back the way, just starting in the final game of the season, match day 38, we know that will be a home game. It'll be trophy day at Celtic Park. So we actually know when that game's going to take place as well. Saturday, May the 17th, kick-off, 12:30pm. So that'll be Hibernian or St Mirren at Celtic Park. The game will be a dead rubber, and we'll get the trophy shortly after full-time. The previous match day, which is our only midweek fixture left, seems certain to be an away game. They're not going to give us like our two home games within a few days of each other. They've never really done that before. So that surely won't be the derby either. So we're talking Pittodrie or Tannadice for that one. Now, given that we can win the league with a point in our next match, the next game isn't going to be a derby either. They're not going to set up the possibility, pretty likely possibility, although maybe not based on how we've played in recent derbies, that we could actually clinch the league at Ibrox. The police aren't going to go for that as much as Sky Sports might, so you can rule out match day 34 being a derby. You're then going to look at the derby being, by process of elimination, match day 35 or match day 36. In terms of winning the league, just jumping back to the next match we've got after next week's cup game, so the first game we come back in the league. And potentially that would be a home game to clinch it. I think in an ideal world that would be the situation. I even spoke about that last week. However, having done a little bit more research and into really fun stuff like the maximum number of times Sky Sports can visit each Premiership ground per season, and I believe that number is 5. And they've already had 5 at Celtic Park. I think for some strange reason Flag Day isn't counted. So I think Sky Sports are actually allowed to show 6 from Celtic Park. They've done 2 against Kilmarnock this season, 2 against Rangers, and the midweek one we had against Aberdeen. So I think they're only allowed 1 more trip to Celtic Park this season. They're going to choose Trophy Day for that when we get our hands on the trophy. So I think it's extremely likely that we're going to have the chance to clinch the title in our next match, either away at Dundee United or away at Aberdeen. For some reason, Tannadice just feels a bit more likely. I don't know if that's because Sky were just at Pittodrie yesterday, or if that's in people's minds, or what the situation is. But yeah, I think Dundee United away, potentially what we're looking at. Without further ado, everyone, here are my post-split fixture predictions, because you definitely wanted all of them. So I've got us going to Tannadice, first of all, then a trip to Rangers on match day 2 post-split, then St Mirren at home, Aberdeen away in that final midweek slot, and Trophy Day at home to Hibernian. By the way, just in terms of us actually winning the league, it's clearly going to happen. I'm sure even the biggest worrier out there, that person on the channel a few weeks ago who was getting a little bit worried after we lost the derby, thinking, is the league in the bag? Surely even you're confident at this stage. Is there anyone out there worried? Well, you kind of need to get hold of yourself, I think, because we're absolutely fine here. We're 15 points clear of Rangers with 15 to play for. We also have a goal difference that's 42 better than them, which is a pretty mad thing to say. So basically, and I'm not encouraging Celtic to do this, we could lose our last 5 league games 4-0, all of them 4-0. Rangers could win their last 5 league games 4-0, including the derby at Ibrox, and we'd still win the league by a couple of goals. So that's the position we're in. It's clearly just going to be a case of going out in the next game and sealing it. So things are good. Watching the game yesterday, and I would have accepted us winning the league had Aberdeen held on and beat Rangers, but no, what a buzz it's going to be. We've got Hampden this weekend, chance to get to the Scottish Cup final, and then the following week it's all going to be about us clinching the league, hopefully ourselves. I certainly think that's going to be the case. So yeah, things are good. Let's go on with a few of your questions then, or comments actually, from yesterday's video. We're starting with Willie Larson, saying, great response yesterday, just what was needed. So many impressive performances, especially Taylor, playing like that every week. Would we really want to sell him? Yeah, I think Greg Taylor's always been able to perform like that. For me, the issue with Greg Taylor has never been like home domestic matches. He's good at finding spaces, and there's an argument that we're possibly a little bit weaker in matches like Saturday when he's not in the team, because he does drift into spaces, and when teams are camped in, he's able to act as another playmaker from deep, which I think is good. The issue for me with Greg Taylor, and probably for a lot of other people, has always been the kind of bigger matches, so matches in Europe and also the derbies. He's been a bit of a weak link at times, not all the time, but I think there was even evidence of that this season for a period, cup final, some games around that time, when he was targeted a little bit, and maybe the feeling was sometimes he was unable to stand up to that. And I think someone like Kieran Tierney coming in next season is clearly going to be an upgrade on Greg Taylor and Jeff Schlupp. But yeah, I think it's interesting to kind of ponder what happens with Kieran Tierney next season as well. Does Brendan Rodgers ask him to play an inverted role at times? Because there's no doubt that, Ange Postecoglou isn't an idiot. A lot of Spurs fans would maybe disagree with me at the moment, but he at Celtic was excellent in terms of bringing in this inverted fullback thing. It created so much space, and Brendan Rodgers clearly has seen the value in it as well. So do we ask Kieran Tierney to do similar next season? I think, reading between the lines, and I've not watched much or really kind of read too much about Tierney at Arsenal, and obviously he's had injury problems, but I think one of the potential issues and reasons he was maybe phased out of the team by Mikel Arteta was that Arteta wanted to go a bit more inverted with his fullbacks. He brought Zinchenko in, who I think was a former midfielder, able to control games a bit more than Kieran Tierney. And I'm well aware that that's like at a different level to us, to be honest, and we'd, I think, find a role for Tierney that works well. But it's going to be interesting, I think, to see what happens with Tierney next season. Is he like the Kieran Tierney we saw first time round, or will he be asked to adapt his game a little bit? My hunch is that the latter will happen, and I think he might be asked to drift into midfield a little bit. But Kieran Tierney's going to be huge for us. Sorry, you asked about Greg Taylor, and I've just spoken about Kieran Tierney. Taylor, would he be a good backup for Tierney next season? Quite possibly. I think it's a moot point though. I think Greg Taylor wants to move on at this stage. I'm just hoping he can finish his Celtic career really strongly. Next comment, we've got Goody2 Views. Enjoyed the game yesterday. First half, Celtic were rapid, decisive, and looked to be enjoying their football. Second half was a display of control. Paradise in the sunshine, a point away from the title. Happy days. Yes, I agree with you. These are really good times. It's been a bit of a strange period recently, kind of a bit of an oxymoron, so close to glory, even like the weather getting better. People should be, I don't know why I pointed out here, the weather's getting worse here, but back home it certainly should be. Enter some clip of Stevie talking about the weather. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, Celtic should be a really enjoyable time to support the club, but in recent weeks there has been a fair bit of frustration around the place, and I think that's just based on the team not playing well, really, and having not too many good performances in recent months. But Saturday was a good day, a really good performance from the team, and already you just see how things change. And now I think the fact we played so well, and certainly in the first half on Saturday, and the fact that we're now even more nailed on to win the title, everyone's feeling a good bit better about themselves. So it's just a reminder of how quickly things can change. And you now look to Sunday at Hampden, which is always a good occasion at the National Stadium, and a real opportunity for the team to go out again and play like that. And if they do put in another performance like that, get us to the Scottish Cup final, and then we win the league the following week, everyone's going to be feeling amazing again. And imagine we won at Ibrox. It could still be an incredible end to the season. We've got Eugene Ritchie saying, Forrest has adapted his game with age. He links up brilliantly, very clever, and knows how to make an impact without taking players on, etc., like he did a few years ago. A great performance at last from all the players. Yeah, it's a bit of a change we've seen in James Forrest in recent years. He doesn't really have the blistering pace anymore, but I think to make up for that, he does have real game intelligence, a real sure touch. And brilliant movement as well. He's a definite starter for me against St Johnstone in the Cup on Sunday. And by the way, I don't know if this has been widely reported, but allow me to do it, that when we do clinch the league title in a couple of weeks, almost certainly, James Forrest will become the most decorated player in Celtic history, overtaking Bobby Lennox with 26 major honours, which is just remarkable, especially when you consider James Forrest has got several more to add to that as well. I mean, he's comfortably going to hit 30 for Celtic, isn't he? And I think there was some quotes from him overnight as well that you'll be able to read. Just so humble as well, and almost seems a bit embarrassed sometimes when you compare him to greats of the club like Bobby Lennox. So great stuff. 2 great Ayrshire people. Me as well. 3 great Ayrshire people. Okay, we'll rattle on with the week then. Build up to Sunday's game. There'll be lots happening between then as well. I'll get some people on. Good few video ideas this week to take us away from the run-of-the-mill daily stuff. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll catch you tomorrow.